Welcome to Reddit Junkie, where we post Am I the A-hole posts daily. Original post, April 2013. AITA for refusing to visit my dying mother in her final days. Hey Reddit, I need a space to get this off my chest, and I know there's going to be judgment no matter what, but maybe that's what I need. I, 24M, have been told that my biological mother is dying. Stage 4 cancer. She has, at most, a few weeks. Maybe less. Her current partner, we'll get to him, reached out to me and said she wants to see me. 2. Make peace. I said no. And now I'm being bombarded by messages from her side of the family, and even a few mutual acquaintances who somehow found me through Facebook, telling me I'm heartless, cruel, and that I'm going to regret this forever. But here's what they don't know, or maybe just don't care to remember. She was not a mother to me. She was a narcissist, a drug addict, and abusive. I'm 24 now. I have a wife and 2 small kids. I have a home, a life, a small but growing business. It took years to get here. I'm not perfect, but I've built a life that's stable, safe, and happy. And that stability came despite my childhood, not because of anything she gave me. Let's rewind. I have 2 younger brothers. One is 21 now, we'll call him Lucas. The other is 14, Josh. We all have different dads. None of them stuck around. My own father left when I was still a baby. Lucas's dad overdosed when he was 3. Josh's father is a mystery. We don't know who he is. My mother went through men like most people go through shoes. And each one brought their own brand of chaos. Some were indifferent, some were drunks, some were worse. One of her boyfriends, I won't name him, but I still remember his face, once locked me in a closet for 2 hours because I spilled a drink on the carpet. I was 7. My mom, she laughed, told me to be more careful next time. The worst part is, it never stopped. The yelling, the manipulation, the constant pressure to be the man of the house, before I even hit puberty. I remember at 10 years old, I got $60 from family for my birthday. It was the most money I'd ever had. I was going to use it to buy books, maybe a game I'd been saving for. She took it, said we needed food, but later that night, I saw her and her then boyfriend in the bathroom, lighting up. I didn't understand heroin yet, but I remember the smell. I remember the glass. That's when something inside me cracked. I started making plans to leave. By 16, I was out. I got a job washing dishes and slept in a friend's garage for months. Eventually, I scraped my way into a trade apprenticeship. Met my now wife when I was 19. We had our first kid at 21. We've been through hell financially, but we've built something strong. I tried, once, to reconnect with my mom. Lucas was still living with her. He was 15 then. She said she was clean. I came over. She had a new boyfriend, the current one, Mark. He took one look at me and said, "Oh, the runaway shows his face again." I left within 10 minutes. Mark was verbally abusive, mocked me constantly, told me I was selfish, arrogant, fake. That I was no better than the rest of them. Lucas moved out at 18. We talk sometimes, but he's struggling. Josh, the youngest, still lives with her. Now she's dying, and suddenly, the narrative is that I'm supposed to drop everything. That it's my duty. That blood is blood. That all. Never forgive myself if I don't say goodbye. Here's the thing. I said goodbye a long time ago. I mourned the mother I never had. I did the work to accept that I was raised in dysfunction. I don't hate her. I really don't. But I don't owe her closure. Mark has messaged me 3 times now. Each one angrier than the last. The most recent said, "You're a selfish piece of sh*t. This woman gave you life, and you spit in her face." I blocked him. Some of my mother's siblings, people I barely know, have reached out too. Saying they can pay for a bus ticket. That it's just one visit. That she's lucid right now, but won't be for long. I don't know what they expect. She wasn't there for my first job. She wasn't there when I graduated trade school. She didn't come to my wedding. She's never met her grandchildren. Why now? Why is my closure secondary to hers? So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to visit my dying mother. Top comments. You burn twice. Not the asshole. It's easy for people to demand reconciliation when they weren't the ones abused. You don't owe her anything. You've already done the hard work of surviving. You kind cousin 234. I'm so sorry for what you went through. You're protecting your peace. That's what a good parent does, for your kids, not your abuser. UT St. Disney. I work in hospice. We see this a lot. Estranged families pressured to come back. You don't have to. Death doesn't excuse abuse. NTA. You, little Lucas maybe. I think I might know op. If this is who I think it is, dude, I'm proud of you. You've come so far. You, torn and pressured. I was pressured to say goodbye to my abusive dad. I regret it every day. He used his final breath to insult me. Trust your gut. Welcome to Reddit Junkie, where we post am I the a-hole posts daily. Original post, April 2013. AITA for refusing to visit my dying mother in her final days. Story content is previously written. Update 1 late April 2013. I wasn't planning to go. Really, I wasn't. For days after I posted, I stewed. The comments poured in, some validating, others not so much. And something about all of it just kept gnawing at me. Not guilt. I want to be clear about that. I don't feel guilt, but I did feel unsettled. A few nights after writing my original post, I sat alone on the porch while my wife put the kids to bed. I thought about how much my mother had taken from me. The money, yes, but also the safety, the stability, the self-worth. I thought about my brothers, especially Josh, the youngest, who probably wouldn't get this choice. He'd still be in her shadow when she died. And for whatever reason, I got up. I didn't even wake my wife. I just drove. It was 1 a.m. when I hit the freeway. By the time I reached the hospice center it was morning. I hadn't eaten, hadn't slept. My mind was racing. Mark was there, bleary-eyed, didn't say a word as he led me into the room. She looked small, so small. Her bones barely kept the blanket lifted. She was awake, lucid, I think, but she couldn't talk, just nodded weakly when she saw me. I stood there. For a long time, she looked at me with something like recognition, or fear. I don't know. Her eyes welled with tears. Her hand twitched like she was trying to reach for me. I took a step closer. And I leaned in. And I whispered, just loud enough for her to hear, soon you'll be dead. And I'll be happy. Her eyes widened. And then she broke. Completely broke. She started sobbing. Full-on chest heaving, silent sobs. Her face twisted in something between regret and despair. I turned around and walked out. I was halfway down the hall when Mark stormed out of the room. He caught up with me in the parking lot and screamed at me, "What the FK did you say to her?" I didn't answer. I got in my car and drove home. By the time I got there, my phone had 14 missed calls. One voicemail from Mark, screaming so incoherently I could barely understand him. Others were from numbers I didn't recognize. I blocked them all. It's been 2 days. I found out through Lucas that she passed a few hours after I left. He didn't judge me, just said he was sorry I had to go through all that again. Josh doesn't know I visited. I'm debating whether to tell him. I don't feel guilty. That's the thing. She deserved to feel something at the end. And for once, I had the power. Not to hit, not to scream, just to speak. And it broke her. Maybe that makes me cruel. I don't know. The comment section on my original post has blown up again. Some are cheering me on. But others, top comments on the update. You complicated grief. I've been following your story. I supported you all the way. But this, man, I get why you did it. But I don't think I could have. That's a level of darkness that's hard to come back from. You, life built from ashes. You were absolutely within your rights to say what you did. But now that she's dead, it won't bring peace. Only distance. I hope you find peace, eventually. You, good dad 444, bro, I'm on your side. 100%. But if that was what you were going to say, why go at all? You had already won by staying away. You, Mark, can rot. I bet Mark is fuming because you showed her something he never could, the truth. You used to be me. I did the same thing. Said something I knew would destroy my abuser before they died. I still think about it. Not with regret, but with weight. Update 2 1 week later. If I thought the fallout from visiting her was bad, the aftermath of her death was worse. Within 24 hours of my mother passing, the calls started again. Mark, her sisters, people I hadn't heard from in years. Even my mother's partner from a decade ago tried to reach out. Everyone wanted to know if I was attending the funeral. I said no, and that, apparently, made me public enemy number 1. You need closure. It's about family. She's gone. Can't you just let it go? They said it like forgiveness was an obligation. Like I hadn't spent years clawing my way out of that hole. Like showing up to a casket would make any of it okay. Then came the manipulation. Your little brother needs you. Lucas is confused. He wants to see you there. Lucas called me once. He didn't ask me to come. He just said, you do what you need to do, man. I'm not gonna judge you. But Josh, our youngest brother, was different. He called me 3 times. The last time, he left a voicemail I wish I'd never heard. You always said you'd protect me. If you're not there, it means she won. I don't know what he meant by that exactly, but it gutted me. Still, I didn't go. The funeral was on a Thursday. Quiet, I'm told, small, closed casket. That night, Mark showed up at my apartment. Drunk, reeking of whiskey. My wife had just put the kids to sleep. I stepped outside and met him on the front lawn. He stumbled toward me, fists clenched. You broke her. You broke her and you laughed about it, he slurred. I said nothing. She cried for you, you little bastard. And then you walked out. What kind of man does that to his mother? Still, I said nothing. He swung first. Clumsy. Sloppy. It barely connected, but the rage behind it snapped something in me. I grabbed him by the jacket and shoved him backward. He hit the pavement hard, scraped his arm, tried to stand. My voice shook, but not from fear. She stole everything from me, I said. You helped. You screamed in my face. You let her use. And you want to lecture me on loyalty. He stood, blood dripping from his elbow, and sneered. She wanted to fix it, you know. She begged me to find you. She wanted absolution, I said. Not forgiveness. He walked away, muttering curses. My wife came outside, phone in hand, but he was already gone. The next morning, I found Josh sitting on my porch. Just sitting there, hoodie pulled up, backpack slung over one shoulder. Eyes red. I'm not gonna lie, he said. What you did, that was cold. I didn't ask you to come, I told him. You're my brother, he said. I wanted to believe you still gave a sh*t. I do, I said. Just not for her. We argued. Quiet at first, then louder. Neighbors peeked through curtains. He accused me of abandoning him. Of being selfish. Of playing victim for internet points. I told him he didn't know half of what she'd done. I lived it too, he shouted. You think just because I didn't get the worst of it, I wasn't there. That stopped me. He looked like a man too old for his age. All of 14, but carrying decades of pain. I'm sorry, I said. But I'm not going back. He left without saying goodbye. Since then, silence. From him. From Mark. From everyone. Maybe that's the end of it. Or maybe it's just the beginning of another chapter I didn't ask for. Update 3 1 year later. It's been a year since my mother's funeral. A year since the screaming, the accusations, the voicemail from Josh, and the punch that barely grazed my cheek. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it lately. Probably because my wife and I are expecting. We found out 6 weeks ago. We're having another daughter. Funny how fatherhood makes you dig up things you thought you'd buried. The drama's mostly died down now. Mark hasn't shown his face since that night. Josh sent me a text on New Year's. Hope you're okay. I responded with a thumbs up emoji. It's not much, but it's something. Lucas and I keep in touch. Light stuff. Football. Memes. He knows I'm expecting, but I didn't tell him everything. Last week, I visited my dad's grave. I brought flowers, my oldest daughter by my side. She asked me if Grandpa would have liked her. I said yes. She asked why he died. I told her the truth, in pieces. It was while standing there, kneeling in front of the stone with her hand in mine, that it hit me. I should never have gone to see my mother. I regret a lot about that day. Not what I said, but that I said anything at all. I went there angry, righteously angry, I thought. I wanted her to feel the pain she gave me, to see my face one last time and know I was still standing. But what did it do? It didn't fix anything. It didn't free me. It made things worse. She was already dying. A shell. Her sobs weren't redemption. They were the cries of a dying woman who understood too late what she'd lost. Or maybe they were the sounds of someone who just didn't want to die alone. I'll never know. I didn't go to the funeral because I wanted peace. Closure. But peace doesn't come from slamming the door and walking away. Peace comes from choosing not to knock in the first place. I keep thinking about what I'll say if my daughter ever asks about my mom. About her grandmother. I don't want to lie. But I don't want to pass on that bitterness either. I don't know what I'll tell her. That her grandmother made mistakes. That she struggled. That we were estranged. Maybe I'll say this. She hurt people. But she was human. And I chose not to let her hurt me anymore. Because I did choose that, eventually. And maybe that's enough. The nursery is coming together. We painted the walls last weekend. My daughter helped. Her little handprints are still on the baseboard. We're keeping them there. New beginnings. New chances. The ghosts haven't left. But they're quieter now. And sometimes, silence is the closest thing to healing we get. Outro. Bell, if you've enjoyed this wild ride through family drama, golden child favoritism, and emotional boundaries, please consider liking and subscribing to Reddit Junkie. We post AITA stories daily, complete with multi-part updates and real community reactions. Your support helps us keep uncovering the internet's most compelling tales. See you in the next post.